Good morning, folks. This message goes out to my 646 folks. Hey, just got done doing a bunch of correcting for you. Where are we here? So, group work 4 looked really good. You guys plugged in, did a really good job on setting up your questions, manipulating the correlation and t-tests. Looked like you guys had an understanding of what was happening there. If by chance you didn't get a piece of that action and someone just ran with it and plugged it in, get a copy of that spreadsheet and try to understand what's happening there. That's going to be real important for you to see the big picture here coming up, because things are going to move along pretty fast with data analysis. We're really on the downside in terms of the hard work for the class, but if you don't know how these numbers work together from this exercise, you're going to be kind of lost, and that's not going to be good. So get a hold of that Excel spreadsheet and play with those numbers a little bit so you can see how things go up and down and change, okay? Just as I suspected, not a lot of t-tests were giving us a positive value, and so in some cases we weren't able to reject the null hypothesis, which means, was there a change there? Which is cool. When we're looking at these types of questions with this limited variability, that's common. So what's going to change that? Well, one is going to be more n, so more numbers. Two is going to be more scaling. So for example, let's dive into your questions real quick here. So I saw on individual work 5, I saw a lot of scaling that was dichotomous, and some was like all over the place. So here's a hint about scaling, okay, to make this simple for you. One, if you go dichotomous, then you're really not getting a lot of information from your survey. You're getting yes, no stuff, which is good on some questions, okay? I'm not saying that that's not possible to use, but I am saying, hey, it's limited, right? Because we're just learning yes or no. And some people will do that on purpose because they don't really want more information. But for us, let's explore, let's expand, and try to stay away from the dichotomous if you can, okay? Go to some kind of Likert scale, all right? Likert scales going from 0 to 4 or 5 and even 7, but here's some of the things I want to caution you on too, okay? So if you use a lot of multiple scales, so here you use 0 through 4, 0 through 5, and then over here you use 0 through 7, or 1 through 7, or 1 to 4. If you use a lot of different ones, guess what we've got to do when it comes time to data analysis? We have to do a lot of dummy coding to enable SPSS or your data software to understand how to account for the different degrees of freedom and the magnitude. So be careful, because you're the one that has to do the coding. Be careful how you do your scaling, okay? I usually stick to one scale. I'll go to dichotomous like you saw in my newest Lifestyles in Medicine survey. I'll use some dichotomous, yes, no, but I'll pretty much stick to the same Likert scale, because I don't want to go back in and do a lot of different coding. Why? Well, I'm not a statistician, number one. I can do it. I've done it. I've done it in SAS, which is even harder than SPSS. But it's tedious, and I don't want to do it if I don't have to. How's that? So I'm trying to help you out and say, hey, stick to a scale for this particular exercise, unless you want to do some coding and you really want to dig in there, all right? Because you're responsible for your data output, all right? Okay, so let's get to some of these goals for what you guys were doing. Well, look, a lot of the goals were really good, but problems. One, a lot of you guys had too many goals there. Some of them had 4 or 5 or 6. Just get to 1 or 2 research questions or goals, okay? Don't put too many out there, because you're going to end up really 3 max. Otherwise, you're going to really confound what information you're trying to get. And so here's another problem. A lot of times in basic research, the research will say, we want to understand what happens when this happens, or how this relates to that. Well, that's cool. I understand that. But when we write our goals for research, we need a more definitive goal than the word understand, okay? Because we can't put a bound measurement around our understanding. It's an infinite construct, okay? So we need more specific detail when it comes down to our research goals than to understand something. So those guys that use that, we're going to tune that in, okay? So what I may end up having each team do is send me their goals right now the way they are, and I'm going to make suggestions and changes. So watch for that announcement, okay? Another one was, things I thought I saw one, understanding how employees or students prioritize this or that. So that again needs to be tuned into something along the lines of what decisions go into prioritizing work or prioritizing whatever. So we got to break these down. These are big constructs you guys are asking for, and to get to the answer you want, we need to break these down a little bit into more measurable, bite-sized pieces. So I want to work with you on that, okay? So that being said, we're going to tune these goals a little bit so we make sure we can glean out good research questions or evaluative questions, hypothesis, whatever, so that we can float a survey out there that will accurately inform those goals, questions, hypothesis. Is that confusing? It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. We just want to make it more clear and simpler so we reach a goal, okay? If they're way too inflated, then we won't be able to do a very good job of accomplishing that goal with questions among our employees, okay? Or people, whoever it is that we're surveying. All right, so that's what we're doing next. We're moving on here. So look for an announcement on that. I'll probably have you guys email 1 per team, and I'll put them in a file, and I'll start working on those this week. What you should be working on this week really is starting to learn how to put data sets into SPSS. So I'm going to send out a couple this week. I'm going to float a couple data sets out there. And I want you guys to read those into your SPSS programs that you guys have downloaded onto your systems and start working with them, okay? Now, I didn't set the class up to quiz you on that, to test you on that. So I'm trusting that you will do it, okay? We'll find out, I suppose, in the end. But I definitely want you to start looking at how to get some data. And so I may float an extra credit assignment out there for you on maybe this week to be able to get some extra points for using data in SPSS, okay? That's really what we're doing this week, okay? So go through this week's stuff and learn about SPSS, how to bring things in. And you should be working with Qualtrics to do the same thing. You can do some analysis and you can do some manipulation of variables in that as well. All right, and then we're going to float into these final weeks of putting this 25 item survey together, and we're going to launch this guy here in the next couple weeks. Okay, so stay tuned. I'll be in touch with you. Look for the announcements this week, and I hope you guys are having a good summer. I'm liking how this is turning out. So many of you guys know that this is the first time we've run this class for the MBA program, and it had a few hiccups here, but not so bad. I think this has gone okay for the first time around for this course. I'm going to put something out there for you guys to do your evaluations for the course, what you'd like to see, and I'd like to give you guys some extra points for that. All right, and then also there's a possibility that we're going to take this course here and combine the thesis in this course in the future. So stay tuned. You want to do really well on this project. I can't say more than I know right now, but some things may change on that in the future. How long it's going to take to do that, I don't know. But I really want you to do well on your projects. That's going to be really important coming up here in the fall, and I might be able to make an announcement then. Okay? All right, have a great day.